friends, it's Jennifer all here with your Daily Hope. And today we're looking at Malachi chapter 2. So I came across a study by Will Bowen that said the average person complains between 15 and 30 times a day. That is not good. It is not good for our brains, our bodies, or our souls. Now imagine if many of those complaints are about a loved one, someone that you are in a covenant committed relationship with. So I'm talking about people that you have promised to show up for, that you're committed to in some way. So yes, if you're married, that's a spouse, but it could be your children. It could be a roommate that you've signed a lease agreement with. It could be a business partner or teammates that you've promised to show up for them this season. These people that we are bonded to. Ay vey, friends, we are all guilty of grumbling against people that we are in close relationships with. So today's chapter is a bit of a gut check, probably for all of us. I know I'm guilty. Malachi chapter 2 asks us to take a closer look at these relationships in our lives, these committed relationships, and gauge how well we are honoring and being faithful to one another. Because how we love each other reflects on our relationship with God. Believe it or not, when we dishonor one another, we are dishonoring God. And it hurts our relationship with Him, our spiritual walk. It's a way of breaking faith. So we're honing in on this wisdom that God has given us. He repeats it twice in this chapter. In verses 15 and 16, he says, guard yourselves in your spirit and do not break faith. He's saying, guard yourselves in your relationships. Guard your spirit in your relationship towards one another. Intentionally protect the integrity of your relationship with each other. So in chapters 1 and 2, we kind of get a glimpse of what he is talking about when he says, guard your spirit. He's saying, guard against complaining. Guard against complaining about one another. Guard against giving each other your worst, like giving each other our leftovers. You know how you go out and you expend yourself in all the other avenues of your life, but then you come home to your loved ones and they just get your grumpiness, your tiredness. We don't consider our loved ones the way we consider others outside of our house. That's what he's talking about. Guard your heart against doing those kinds of things. He says, guard your heart against anytime you start to view your loved one as a burden or an obligation. That's a red flag. These things and others that contribute to building resentment or disdain or apathy or indifference towards our loved ones. These are things that erode our relationships. This is what it means to guard our spirits against these things. When we erode our relationships like this, it makes it easier for us to break promises, to not show up anymore, to be unfaithful to each other. And that means towards God as well. So I've got some ideas for things that we can do instead. And at the top of that list is to lean into gratitude. We've got to intentionally appreciate each other. Look for the good. Look for something that they have done that you can celebrate. Because once you start looking for it, I think you'll see more and more how they are contributing positively to your life by who they are and what they do. I know that it's really easy for us to focus on the hard things, the negative things, the things that annoy us. But when we do that, what we focus on, it grows. So mulling over the negative and sharing and complaining with our friends, always the negative story, solidifies that experience as a negative memory in our minds, and it's simply not helpful. So appreciate, look for what you can appreciate. And lead with compassion in your relationships. Compassion, not comparison or critique. Allow for their humanity, because we need them to allow for our humanity too. None of us is perfect. And get some rest. Get some rest, friends. When we are tired and distracted all the time, we don't make time for play or to laugh together. Get some rest so that you can rekindle the affection in your relationship. And pray for each other. Pray about our relationships. Lift them up to God. They matter to God. God will help us to walk in love with one another. So let's guard our spirits and be faithful to each other, and God will be glorified. I hope I see you soon, friends.